Hello. Today I'd like to speak with you about a topic that is very close to my heart, and that topic is entrepreneurship. And if I had to give it a title, it will be The Entrepreneurship Edge: Mastering Mindset and Attitude for Success. An entrepreneurship edge refers to the unique strength, skills, and perspectives that enable an individual or a company to outperform competitors in the market. It encompasses a combination of mindset, strategic approaches, and practical abilities that foster innovation, adaptability, and resilience, ultimately leading to sustainability. Here is the truth: success in entrepreneurship isn't just about what you build, it's also about who you become. And who you become is shaped by two things: your mindset and your attitude. That's correct. So today I want to share with you five essential elements that define the entrepreneur's edge. They are the growth mindset, resilience, adaptability, vision, and purpose. Are you ready? Let's dive in. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities, intelligence, and talents can be developed with effort and learning. In other words, you must do the work. Here's a quick story for you. When I launched my first online course, I spent weeks on the content, the branding, the marketing, and only 3 people signed up. I was devastated. A fixed mindset says, I'm just not good at this. However, because I have a growth mindset, I asked, what can I learn from this? Where can I improve? And best of all, how can I serve my audience better next time? It's all in the attitude. Entrepreneurs with a growth mindset are naturally curious. They ask questions instead of making excuses. They see failure as data. In other words, they gather and they document their failures to make sure they don't repeat them. They look for opportunities to learn from their failures. Failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor. Remember that. They view effort as a path to mastery. They embrace progress over perfection. In my opinion, perfection is a dirty word. We will never attain perfection. We should still work towards it, but embrace your progress and celebrate those wins along the way. I grew up in a culture where I was expected to be perfect. I was told that practice makes perfect. And so I worked hard to be perfect. But I was also hard on myself when I failed. However, as I evolve, I have learned to take a different approach. I continue to work hard and do my best, but I've learned to embrace progress over perfection. That is all I expect from myself and from others. Do your best. Remember, every expert was once a beginner, and every successful entrepreneur failed their way forward. Remember, you're not failing, you are learning. And that, my friend, is the edge. Let's talk about resilience. Resilience is your ability to bounce back, not just from failure, but from fatigue, criticism, and uncertainty. As an entrepreneur, others are watching you. Some even expect you to fail. They will criticize you, not because they're doing better than you, but because you dare to do something they don't have the courage or the vision to do. That makes some people very uncomfortable. And instead of spending their energy into improving themselves, they criticize you. They're envious of you. However, I encourage you to stay focused on your goals and ignore the negativity. Get up and brush yourself off and start from where you are. Now, because you failed, You're not starting over. You start from where you are because you have something to work with. Imagine you finally land your biggest client, and 2 months in, they back out. You're embarrassed, your revenue drops, and your team is discouraged. You have a choice. You can give up or you can recalibrate. What would you do? True entrepreneurs don't run from the storm. They learn to dance in the rain. They understand that setbacks are setups for comebacks. Remember that. Resilience in entrepreneurship looks like this: it's getting back on the phone after a rejection, showing up even when the numbers are low, believing in your vision when others don't. Ask yourself, how do I treat the hard days? Because those days shape your success more than the easy ones. The next element I want to discuss is adaptability. Huh. Oh boy. The world is changing and it's doing it so fast. Technology evolves, consumer behavior shifts, and crises hit unexpectedly. So, adaptability is not a luxury for the entrepreneur, it's survival. For those of you who say AI is not a good thing, let me say this: you will either learn to embrace AI or you will be left behind. Think about 2020 during the pandemic. Businesses that relied solely on foot traffic had to either adapt or shut down. Those who pivoted created delivery models. They went online, they changed offerings, they survived, and in some cases, they thrived. I have a client who held a senior role in an organization, and during the pandemic, he lost his job. He did not sit around having a pity party, inviting you to bring the confetti. No, he sought help because he recognized that asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength. We worked together to identify his skills and how he could transfer those skills into other opportunities. I told him his skills did not have to be in the same industry. I shared a story from the late Dr. Miles Monroe, who spoke during a conference and told the attendees that if they lost their job, they should stop feeling sorry for themselves. They need to step out of their comfort zone. He told them not to limit their opportunities to just what they already know. Yes, they had their master's degree, their PhDs, but they lost their job. They were not able to get jobs in those fields. Dr. Monroe had multiple degrees, but he was sharing that with them. He said, cook rice and sell it. Now, you see, Dr. Monroe was from the Bahamas, and I'm from Jamaica. And if anything you know about Caribbean people, we eat rice. Okay, rice and beans and rice and different things. And he said, cook rice and sell it. People have to eat. Bake cookies and sell them. Be innovative. Do a pivot. So when I shared that story with my client, we put our shoulders to the wheels, we put our heads together, we looked at his finances, and we got a business loan. Well, he got a business loan. I just helped him to get it. And you know what he did? He bought a box truck. And he, along with his oldest son, did delivery during the pandemic. During the pandemic, you people brought the things to you since you could not go into the stores. People were buying things that had to be delivered. And after the pandemic, he went back to a corporate job, but he still has that box truck. In fact, he has two box trucks and hired two additional people to drive them and do delivery. He's crushing it financially because of his box trucks. So he experienced adversity during the pandemic, but look at what happened. My story: in 2001, I lost my job from T. Rowe Price as a business analyst. I was in that department for 1 year, but prior to that, I was a corporate trainer in their training department. But I was required to do extensive travel to other locations. And that did not sit well with my lifestyle because my daughter was 2 years old. So I transitioned from the training department to the IT department. But I was in the IT department for 1 year when in 2001, after 9/11, the company laid people off because it was experiencing financial hardship. So what did I do? I decided to look for training positions, but they all required traveling, and I did not want to do that. I could not do that with my daughter. I got this job at Morgan State University in the Center of Continuing and Professional Studies, but it came with a 30% pay cut. So I had to find other opportunities to make up my income. And I connected with someone and I learned residential real estate investment. So I have been a real estate investor since 2003. And if that had not happened to me, I would not have considered learning real estate investment. So out of adversity, out of my pain, I learned something new. I learned new skills. And today I teach others to invest and build wealth in real estate investment. Look at that. Now I help women in their late 40s and 50s plus build wealth through real estate investment so they could build a legacy. If that's you, connect with me. The next element I want to share with you, my friends, is how adaptable are you? What does it look like? Being adaptable means you remain open to feedback. You innovate consistently because the world is changing. You anticipate change instead of resisting it. The edge isn't being about being perfect. It's about being fluid. I want you to be stubborn about your vision and be flexible with your strategies. And that's a winning combination. The fourth element is vision. Vision is a picture of the future that fuels your drive today. Without vision, you're just reacting. But with vision, you are leading. Let's look at this scenario. Let's say two people start a coffee shop. One just wants to sell lattes and cappuccinos. The other envisions creating a local hub that empowers young artists, supports mental wellness, reinvests profits into the community. Who's going to attract more customers? Who do you think will attract investors? Who will start? And who will still be motivated in 5 years? Vision does three things. It gives you direction, it inspires others to follow, and it helps you say no to your distractions and yes to your destiny. Vision is the why behind your what, and it turns your business into a mission. If you don't know where you are going, you will never know when you have arrived. So craft a vision that outlives you. And the final element is your purpose. This is the engine that drives your entrepreneurial journey. It's deeper than profit. It's about impact. There's a woman named Jane who sells hair care products. For years, she struggled with hair loss and self-esteem issues. Now, her business isn't just about hair, it's about healing confidence. Her purpose fuels her content, her customer service, and her product line. People don't just buy from Jane, they believe in her. So, purpose gives you staying power. When business is slow, when support is low, when the road is hard, purpose whispers, keep going. This matters. Purpose transforms your business into a calling. So don't just chase trends, follow meaning. Friends, let me leave you with this. Every successful entrepreneur has endured hardship. Every one of them that you admire, Oprah, Steve Jobs, Damon John, they didn't get where they are by avoiding obstacles. They got there by mastering their mindset and their attitude. They chose growth over rejection, over comfort. They built resilience over rejection. They adapted instead of panicking. They followed a bold vision. They walked in unshakable purpose. The entrepreneurship friend, my friend, it's not just about luck. The entrepreneurship edge is about becoming that kind of person who can carry the weight of a dream and the courage to bring it to life. So if you're building something, don't just work on the business, work on you. Because when you grow, your business grows. You always, you already have what it takes. Now it's time for you to activate it. To your success, be kind to yourself and to each other. This is Merlyn Clarke. Thank you. Goodbye.